Welcome to Season 5 of Pants Around Ankles Prevention, where my mission is to help you keep your pants securely buckled and avoid that unexpected, awkward, and embarrassing moment when you realize suddenly that they're not. This season, we're going to do things a little differently with shorts around ankles prevention. Quick, power-packed episodes designed to deliver a punch of truth to help you wake up to a new perspective. Let's see what today's short has in store. The title of this newsletter is I Am Pissed. I'm pissed at myself. As I've probably mentioned previously, I have taken on the project of learning to write as a challenge because I don't know how to do it. I'm a good public speaker. That comes very naturally to me. But I also know exactly what my topic will be, and almost always I'm a subject matter expert in it. In fact, I was in a meeting last month and somebody challenged me to do a presentation on such a topic at the next meeting, and I just spontaneously did it right then and there. It doesn't work that way when it comes to the writing. Not at all. To quote what has been widely attributed to the American poet and writer William Stafford, we don't write because we have something to say, but to figure out what we have to say. For me, writing can be a process of discovery because there are times when I do uncover things that were not there before. And that alone makes it a very powerful tool. But generally, the writing I'm doing is intended to bring a place of clarity, to be refinement, to hone my thinking on something. My mother used to tell me that if you can't write it clearly, you really don't understand it. And I believe that completely. So the value of publishing these things I'm writing, at least for me, is that it requires a rigor of expression that does not have to appear in my journal, because you're going to be reading it. Earlier this week, I was a participant in an intimate group event led by one of the premier executive coaches in the country. At one point, he asked a question, which was this: what is holding you back? I immediately had clarity on that. My answer immediately formed in the context of my writing, and it was this: imposter syndrome. So in case you're not familiar with this by that name, imposter syndrome is when an individual doubts their skills or accomplishments and has a fear that they will be exposed as being an imposter, a fraud, often despite clear objective evidence to the contrary. Okay? So the coach then pointed out, when I shared this with the group, that the imposter syndrome is pervasive among virtually all people who are actively growing. The fact is that when I shared my response with the group, it seemed like the whole room collectively made kind of a short grunt of, oh yeah, me too, kind of a thing, seemingly in support of my contention. And that's when I became pissed. If imposter syndrome is nothing more than a common symptom of personal growth, then I need to get over myself and not allow it to hold me back. It's okay, even healthy and necessary, to routinely be self-examining our motivation and fears. But to allow those fears to interfere is just not okay. So exactly what are my fears? What you would have no way of knowing is that I asked that question, so just what are my fears? And then there was a great pause in the authoring of this as I tried to figure that out. Do I even know what they are? Are these things that are floating around in my awareness true fears, or are they reflections of some deeper fear? Or are they symptoms? Yeah, I think they probably are. There are currently about 8 billion people on planet Earth. And I am very aware that only a handful of them care if I live or die. If I died tomorrow, I think a few more than a handful would say, regret my passing, but that's mostly because it will represent some sort of an inconvenience for them. Within a week, they'll have moved on and be just fine without me. And I'm very aware of this, and I'm actually completely okay with it. I hear people talking about wanting to leave a legacy of some sort, and to my way of thinking, this is just a reflection of an out-of-balance ego. But it does leave a clue. They want to feel like they have been significant, that they've made a difference. And why do they want that? Because at some level, they believe they aren't or haven't been. And I can relate to that, even if I don't look at it the same way. So perhaps this is all rooted in my narcissistic tendencies, but I really couldn't care less about leaving a legacy. I think the root fear I'm dealing with is grounded in the desire to become all that I can be, for my life to become an expression of that. And the fear is that I am failing sufficiently at it. Further, I think that all I can be is for me, and I think this is for everyone, way higher or more expansive than our culture believes it to be. That is what I want and don't yet have. So not only did I have imposter syndrome holding me back, because that's now history and I'm not going to tolerate that anymore, but I also have uncertainty as I tread a path toward a level of living that goes beyond the stereotypes generated in our society about what success actually is. And the lack of clarity about which steps to take, which forks in the road to choose, slides me quickly from uncertainty to hesitation to inaction. And I think that's what's holding me back. Still, though, I'm pissed. Not because the fear showed up, but because I let it steer me without self-examination. That is an expensive mistake, and I'm not going to make it anytime again soon. How about you? Where are you letting hesitation make decisions for you? What dream have you quietly downsized so you don't have to risk embarrassment or failure? Which action have you postponed while you wait to feel ready? If you know the answer, I suggest you actually write it down and then ask yourself one brutal question. If not now, when? Or you can be like most and die with unrealized capacity and potential. If you'd like a deeper dive into this topic, consider subscribing to our newsletter, Waking Up, where we will explore it in even more detail. And if you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. See you soon.